Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about science, and we're going to talk about Moonfall. All right, so spoilers for the 2022 Roland Emmerich film, Samuel Tarly Goes to Space, Moonfall. All right, so I just saw Moonfall, and it is every Dungeon Master content. So every Dungeon Master should go see Moonfall, and the reason why is because Moonfall is just like powerfully shows how we can use our story platform to exhibit science. All right, so Moonfall is a powerful platform for showing how a story can exhibit science. Right, so I'll give you a few examples. So one of the examples is so basically, the moon is falling down onto Earth, right? But as the moon gets closer, it exhibits its own gravity on Earth and pulls things up on Earth toward it. It lessens the Earth's gravity, and now the gravity of the moon is pulling things on the Earth up, right? So there's this one part of the film where one of the characters is trapped under a tree, right? And it is the son of the main astronaut, right, who goes up to save the Earth with Halle Berry, right? And so he's trapped under this power, very heavy tree, right? And so this girl who is interested in him risks her life to go save him, and she's like 120 pounds, right? There's this gigantic tree on him, and so she's like, hey, I'm gonna lift this tree up, and he's like, you can't lift this tree up, it's too heavy, right? But the moon's gravitational force is pulling the tree up, and so she's like, push with me, I'll pull and you push, and they pull this gigantic, like 4-foot tree, fallen tree off of the astronaut's son. Because that's how science works, right? The gravity of the moon is pulling up the tree, and so and then all through the movie we get these great examples of how science works, right? Where the moon's gravitation is changing things that are happening on Earth. There's this other part where some scientists are running to escape the building they're at, and they're going to be taken in a helicopter to Colorado, where they'll go in under a bunker, right? And they'll be safe, right? So what they do in order to run to the helicopter is they actually use skipping steps, just the way Buzz Aldrin did on the moon, and they actually bounce like 3-4 feet into the air and use bouncing steps to shorten their trip to the helicopter, and the moon pulls them up, and they're able to get into the helicopter in time, and then they're able to outrun the tsunami in this helicopter, because that's how science works, right? Moonfall shows all kinds of great examples of exactly how science works. Another example, right, is they show machine durability, right? So Halle Berry and this other astronaut, they get they take one of the old space shuttles, right, and they just get a science team. They completely replace all the old parts with new needed parts, pull it right out of a museum. Within a day, just, retrofit it, right? Put in all kinds of new technology and actually put in replacement parts to make it so that the space shuttle will be flyable again, right? So then they go up, and the moon is falling down on Earth. So there's all these big rock parts, right? And so some of the rocks hit the space shuttle. Now, normally, if you a lot of technology today is not really built durably. But back in the 80s, they were very durable, right? And it shows how the space shuttle specifically, because it was built in the 80s and built with strong American steel, right, could get hit by boulders in space and be perfectly fine, right? Machine durability exhibited in the film, because that's how science works, right? Now, since Roland Emmerich did a fantastic job of showing us how science works in Moonfall, if you want to see a film really I think they did some nonsense movie way back in the day called The Right Stuff, that talked about But like, this is a good film where like the way the science attaches to what you're seeing on screen, solid, solid exhibition of science, right? So now, like I said, this is every Dungeon Master content, which means that what you need to do is, in your next Dungeons and Dragons game, first of all, go see Moonfall, right? And that will show you how to exhibit science in a story. And we do Dungeons and Dragons. Now, we have magic, right? However, that doesn't take science out of our Dungeons and Dragons game. So the next time your wizard casts their fireball, right? If they cast that fireball in a tavern, you're going to do the regular 8d6 damage, right? But when those opponents get close to the wall, which is on fire, they should take an additional 1d6 damage just from the radiant heat coming off the wall, because that's how science works. Also, the next time your sorcerer casts lightning, right, and you're going to get 5d6 of lightning that's coming out. If this battle is happening in the rain, you should add a plus 2d6 to the lightning, because that's how science works, right? Even though the lightning is magically generated, it's still going to produce more damage because of the conductivity of the water that the opponent is standing in. Because that's how science works, right? In addition to that, when wall of air is cast, right, that's going to blow the hair of the opponent into the it's going to blow their hair all over, right? It's not just the 46 coming from the wall of air that's striking the opponent. There's also going to be visibility issues, right, which is going to get in their face, right? And that should mean that the next time that opponent is able to land any kind of a successful hit, their damage should be halved, right? So that's 3 examples of how Dungeons and Dragons is a perfect platform to allow us to exhibit how science works exactly the way pretty much a documentary, Moonfall, shows us how science works today. Powerful film, every Dungeon Master content. Get inspired from Roland Emmerich to exhibit science powerfully in your art, in your story, and help people to understand science exactly the way Moonfall helps people to understand science, and to be inspired by our American astronauts. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.